Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we are jumping right into the single most important tense you need for talking about your everyday life, your habits, and pretty much the whole world around you. It's the simple present. If you want to describe your reality, this is the tool. So, let's dive in. So, just for a second, think about this. How would you describe your morning? What you do when you first wake up, or what kind of food you like. The sentences you're building in your head right now, well, you're probably using the simple present tense without even realizing it. It's the absolute key to telling your own story. So, first things first, let's get right to the heart of it. What exactly is the simple present? And more importantly, when are we supposed to use it? Okay, so here's the deal. The simple present is our go-to for things that are just, well, true. Think of it as the tense for all the constants in our life. The habits we do over and over, the facts that don't change, and the situations that make up the predictable, stable parts of our world. You can pretty much boil it down to these three main jobs. First, we use it for our habits and routines, like saying, I wake up at 7. Easy enough. Second, we use it for general truths. These are facts about the world that are always true, like water boils at 100 degrees Celsius. And finally, we use it for our feelings and what we like, I like pizza. It's all about what's regular, what's true for you, and what's true for the world. All right, so we get why we use it, but now how do we actually build it? In this next part, we're going to get practical and learn how to put together some simple, positive sentences. This is our foundation. Okay, you're going to want to listen closely here, because this is the one and only golden rule you really have to remember for the simple present. For almost everyone, I, you, we, they, it's super easy. But for he, she, or it, the verb needs a little something extra. And here's exactly how that rule works. See on the left? For I, you, we, and they, you just use the normal base verb. I play football. Simple. But look over on the right. For he, she, and it, we have to add an S or an ES to that verb. So it becomes he plays football. That tiny little letter makes all the difference. Awesome. You've totally got the positive sentences down. But what if we want to ask a question or say no? Well, we need a little help. And that help comes from two magic words, do and does. Let's see how they work their magic. Let's start with a simple sentence that we already know how to make. He likes music. And remember, we see that S on likes because our subject is he. Now, watch this. To make it a question, we bring in our magic word does and put it right at the beginning. But look closely. What happened to our main verb? Likes went back to being just like. That S basically jumped over to our helper word, does. So we ask, does he like music? And guess what? The exact same logic works for negatives. We use our helper word again, but this time we add not to it, which gives us doesn't. And once again, the main verb goes back to its base form. So the correct way to say it is he doesn't like music, not he doesn't likes music. So to make this super, super simple, here's the formula. Whether you're making a question or a negative sentence, it's just 2 steps. Step 1, add do or does. Step 2, always, and I mean always, use the basic original form of the main verb. That's it. Okay, theory is great and all, but let's see how this stuff actually works in the real world. We're going to follow a quick story about a student named Sarah, and you'll see how her entire day can be described using just the simple present tense. So our story begins. Sarah is a student. She lives in a small city. Right away, we're setting up some basic facts about her. These are unchanging situations. And see that S on lives? That's our golden rule in action already. Now we're getting into her daily routine. These are the habits she does every single morning. She wakes up, she brushes her teeth, and she eats breakfast. It's just a perfect little chain of simple present verbs. And her routine keeps going. Again, because we're talking about she, all our verbs get the important S at the end. She walks to school, and when she gets there, she studies. See how it paints a really clear picture of her day? Ooh, but hang on. Notice the change here. Now we're talking about her friends, so we use the word they. And look what happens to the verbs. They drop the S and go right back to their base form. They talk, they laugh, they share. This is a perfect example of how that rule works for different subjects. And we're back to Sarah's afternoon routine. She does her homework. Then, in the evening, she watches TV. These are just fixed parts of her day, and they're described perfectly with our tense. And here's how her day ends. She reads a book, and she sleeps. And just like that, we've told the story of her entire day from morning till night using almost nothing but the simple present tense. It's honestly that powerful. All right, that was a good bit of information, but you did great. We've seen what the simple present is for, how to build it, and how it works in a real story. So now let's just lock it all in with a super quick recap. This little table has everything you need to know. For positive sentences, subject plus verb, and just add that S for he, she, or it. For negatives, subject, then don't or doesn't, plus the base verb. And for questions, start with do or does, then your subject, then the base verb. Simple as that. And that's it. Seriously, great job. You now have the fundamental tool you need to describe your own habits, your truths, and your daily life in English. So I'll leave you with this final thought. Using the simple present tense, what's one fact that's always true about you? Go on, give it a try. The absolute best way to learn this is to just start talking about your own world. Thanks for joining me today.